Yo, what's up, man? What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Sino. I'm back. I'm gonna get out this vest. But let me tell you, it is hard damn work, man. Woo, hard work. Hard work. Doing what I do. Woo. Yeah, being in this vest, man. It's a mess out here. Can't be too unsafe out here. Be slipping. Now, welcome everybody. This is yours truly, Carcino, and let's go into this situation that we have presenting right here in front of you. And this situation is basically called Why I'm Glad I Didn't Talk About This Situation. And I saw this coming a mile away. I was worried for Tasha K based on the fact that I'm figuring after going through the Cardi B stuff that she would 100% be on the level. Like, got all her T's and dots crossed, all of these things, right? I'm assuming she got all of that done. Now, what I've noticed is that she didn't, or it appears to be that she didn't. And you got to know that you're playing with dangerous people. And when you're playing with dangerous people, you better have something that's going to protect you when this hammer come boom, slamming down. You're going to want to have that umbrella so that you don't get rained on. So in case you've been under a rock, there has been a situation brewing where Tasha K had a former assistant of Kevin Hart on an interview. And when she did this interview with this former assistant of Kevin Hart, and she was telling all, I was surprised because I said, wow, doesn't she have a NDA? So I'm thinking maybe she's an intern. She's not really fully a personal assistant, because no personal assistant would talk like this. So when I mentioned it before, I've never made a video. It was during another live stream when all of this was being presented. And I was saying that if she's doing this girl, and she don't have an NDA or anything, and she's out talking like this, she's not going to get hired anywhere else. I hope she understands that. No one's going to work with you ever again in this business. So I just was hoping that the young girl who was doing this, who was all excited about it, and her name is like Misha Shakes. I was like, man, I hope this Misha Shakes understands that she's going to be out of the game. So unless she's saying this is just, I'm going to do something else, I'm out, this is it. Yeah, so this became a bigger situation than many people would recognize or understand, due to the fact of, the context of what she was doing, or what she allegedly was doing. And for my, I understand people want to spill the tea. That's the new thing, right? But you have to be kind of careful in how you do it, because, you're playing with people's lives, and that's why a lot of the stuff I talk about is old, like it's not that's gonna like ravage somebody's lifestyle. Like the stuff this woman is saying and putting out in the public will have Kevin Hart in a divorce, personal, financial, and business situations, probably compromised and tampered with, because of this. You don't want to mess up somebody's bag or doing that. It's cool, but you got to understand these people live their lives in the public, and this is not cool to do. Now, I don't know if Kevin Hart personally did something to this woman to make her feel like she has to be this spiteful, and no one really knows why she took off and did what she did. But this Misha Shakes decided to go public. Now, there's a major problem in her going public. She opened up the business. And when the lawsuit was filed by Kevin Hart, unlike, Jada Pinkett, who threatened to sue, they actually sued. She still haven't filed her lawsuit yet against Tasha K or the whole everything. Tasha K allegedly still owes about over $4 million to Cardi B. I don't know how that's being worked out or whatever. This has nothing to do with that. We're going to go into some of the key details because people kept asking me, man, didn't she sign an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement? Or what's that about? So, let us know what that. I read that like she shouldn't be able to disclose it. Is it the sale thing? Let me tell you what the problem is. And Tasha K would have been protected from all of this. She would have been protected from this whole situation. The only thing that put her in the crosshairs was that allegedly someone from her company decided it would be in their best interest to try to get money out of the situation. And allegedly did something really stupid and tried to find a way to extort revenue from Kevin Hart. This is what's being alleged. Now, in the actual contract and everything that was being said and done that we had provided in front of us from the actual case, Kevin Hart and his team aren't playing any games. They tried to negotiate this thing. Like, she made a lot of damning claims and just a little bit that we saw. Admitting to infidelity on Kevin's part and identified the woman, said that they were on a plane together and Kevin was sleeping with her and she was working on his private plane and they had this relationship going and the wife was pregnant again. Like, she put a lot of information into the public light. Kevin Hart's gambling problems. He spent up the money and payroll was messed up because he was overspent so much gambling. So with all of this going on that she stated in just a little bit, I have not heard the entire whole interview. So I can just imagine how much more she divulged. Now, what she probably didn't tell or mention to Tasha K, and she probably should have, is she should have said something on the grounds of, hey, wait a minute, I don't think this is correct. I think we need to get this in perspective. I think we need to take a step back and, make sure this NDA is correct. Yes, I don't think that's a new photo. I think that's an old photo of her going to the Kevin Hart studios beforehand. But I saw that like she was going down there, like, but she's still promoting like go and check out the interview and blah blah blah. Now, the lawsuit includes Misha Shakes, the studios that's in Georgia, and they have Latasha Transrinka Kibi, which is Tasha K. But here's what they got: civil extortion, breach of contract, intentional interference with contractual relations, invasion of privacy, which means public disclosure of private facts, and number 5, defamation. Defamation, right? A confidentiality and a agreement and a non-disclosure is pretty much the same thing. Depends on how it's done. Sometimes people have like both signed because they want them to represent two different things. Like one you sign while you're there, and one is like you sign when you're not there anymore. Now, when you have a confidentiality agreement, that's normally in place when you are still employed. When you have an NDA, that's normally for when you're no longer working there. You know, that basically says, okay, you have a confidentiality agreement, meaning like while we're working here, all this stuff that's happening here, you can't talk about. Now, when you have a non-disclosure agreement, that means once you leave here, all this, everything that's in this detail saying that you can't share the information or anything that we had here with anybody else. So it's basically the same thing. If that people understand what I'm talking about, I've signed plenty of NDAs, plenty in my day. So I had to send some out to people. We had to group sign, signature documents. And so people in business, we're very familiar with these kind of contracts. Now, this is such a unique case because of the high profile character of Kevin Hart. This is damaging to him. This is why he has to come out and sue, because not only is he not really saying Misha Shakes is lying on him, nothing in the lawsuit indicates that she was lying. They're mad she's talking. That's a very key fact here. There ain't nobody in this lawsuit is saying that she's lying on me. The defamation would say that she's defaming me, but nothing in there is indicated that they're saying she's lying. You see, what they have here when they say invasion of privacy and public disclosure of private facts, that means that you have private facts that you know that the public don't know, and you're disclosing that. That is an invasion of privacy, like telling someone that someone else is having a baby and pregnant, and they have not disclosed that information to the general public themselves. That's an invasion of their privacy. So the Invasions of Privacy Act can be applied there by stating someone had a baby and they haven't told anybody in the world yet. You could be sued for that. In case you don't know, you can't. You can actually be sued for that. That almost happened when somebody alleged someone was pregnant, and they were going to get sued for invasion of privacy. One of these magazines, Star Magazine, had did that, saying such and such was pregnant. She looked like she's showing, but they were just doing what they usually do, because they normally about 2% right when they do that. You know, Jennifer Aniston's been pregnant every year for like 50 years. It became like a running joke. And she's never had a baby. So there you go. So this hurts Kevin Hart, who tries to portray he's the good father, he's the good husband. And, you know, this interview she did kind of disrupts that. This disrupts that. Now, we're going to go into some of the key details so that you guys will understand what is really at stake here, how serious this really is, because it's very serious. Nobody's playing around. They're not joking. They're not taking the Will and Jada route, just trying to do it in public, but they don't really want this thing to go to court or have any of this information that the other person have in detail with. Now, who is Misha Shakes? Right? According to the lawsuit, right, they're saying Misha Shakes' employment there served as Kevin Hart's personal assistant. They call them their PA. It's my personal PA. So when someone's a personal PA, it already comes and they're privy to a confidential agreement with business and personal information that's regarding Kevin Hart, his family, his friends, his associates, Heartbeat Entertainment, or all the personnel, employees there, anything affiliated with Kevin Hart companies. So as a result, Shakes appeared to be in a position to disseminate or confirm allegations about those persons to the entities, regardless of the truth or false of these claims. Now, upon entering her employment with Kevin Hart, you know, and this was dated August 8th of 2017. That's when she came through her personal employment, as her confidentiality agreement was signed on that date. So there's no, you're working here until we get this filed, and none of that. That wasn't the case. They put it in place saying, no, you're going to actually sign this agreement. It was put in place on 8/8/2017, not 2016. And you can see they scratched it out and put 2017. Now, you could put you could put a lot of different details into you could put a lot of details in there, like anything that's the owner, the entities that belong to Kevin Hart or Leland Pookie Wiggleton. So that was also mentioned in there. That means business ideas, techniques, methodologies, computer programming. It's a long trade secrets, a lot of different confidentiality agreements. Like, I worked at a company that they made their own machine by scratch, and the technology was so It was so many people trying to duplicate that machine. They had people come there to apply for jobs just so they can get hired there, so they can get around the machine and try to take pictures of it. They wanted to get to the specs of that machine so that they can copy it. And China came close at a trade convention, but they don't have the NDA. They don't have the properties there. And that is like that machine is worth about at least $100 million in revenue, because that what that machine can do, others can't. China came very close to making it, and other people decided to go with the China machine just because of the price and said it's close enough, and it wasn't. But that information there is confidential. So, and even when I worked there, even though I wasn't even on that side where that machine is, I had to sign a confidentiality agreement. And when I left, we had a non-disclosure agreement about any details I had saw, but I didn't work in that area, so they didn't feel the need to really lean on me because I had nothing to do with that machine. What does this mean for Tasha K as far as the lawsuit and what's happening here? Um, well, right there, I'm going to show you guys so that you understand what I'm saying, that she actually signed the final agreement with her own signature. They showed it in the lawsuit to show that she understands what she's signing. It's not a joke. Like, she knew exactly what she was getting into. And there's a lot of key details that were left out about property rights, privacies, and she signed this willingly when she got there for employment. And this is just the beginning. And I'm going to show you how this relates to a problem for Tasha K when it really didn't have anything to do with her at first. Pink today, well, yeah, it's kind of like uh, what Jay-Z would say, is mauve. It's mauve. I'm on my cam. Mm-mm-mm-mm. See, when you take facts of opinion and you take facts and you blend them in with some things that might be false, and you have signed a legal, non a confidentiality agreement. I mean, depending on the type of damage you've done, it could be within the millions of hundreds of thousands. People just don't know how damaging something is. You could be affecting other business practices. Other people will say, well, I don't want to deal with you if your personal assistant is coming out saying things like this. You don't have your ship in order, and your personal assistant. You think these people don't look at this stuff and saying, okay, Kevin Hart, he's gambling away his employees' money. If they're saying that, like, who would want to do business with you if you're somebody who's doing that? Oh no, they've had it all broken down. They said her confidentiality agreement and the NDA, she signed both as confidential. The NDA included an attorney's fee clause proceeded in the following, airing out all related to the agreement. Uh, Prevailing party should be entitled to recover all of the attorney fees and everything. And they say, and or around November 2023, she conducted and recorded an interview where Shakes made various statements regarding Kevin Hart, his family, and Heartbeats personnel, employees, and Hart affiliate entities. Now, this is notwithstanding, the truth or falsity of the statements. Shake would only have to acknowledge regarding such subjects as a result of her employment with Kevin Hart and Heartbeat Entertainment. Such information, right, would have constituted a confidential information as defined by the NDA, such as information alleged to personal relationships affecting the employment status of personnel at Hart affiliated companies. So these agreements were put in place. And they go and actually show it to the world. As you can see, this is the confidentiality agreement that was sent to Misha Shake. Dated. Y'all see that, right? That's the confidentiality agreement with Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Production. Confidentiality agreement, right? So she wrote on it. Just in case you thought we was jiving you. Now, what are some of the things that are done here that you see, right? Confidentiality information, shareholders, clients, marketing plans, all of these things that we spoke on. You see right here. And they listed everything. But this Leland Pookie Wiggleton, I don't know nothing about him. But all of this is included in the confidentiality agreement. Now, we're going to get to how this affects Tasha K. We're going to get there, people. Don't worry. We're dealing with the person who the lawsuit was really for. Right. She wasn't allowed to even disclose photographs of Kevin Hart. Not one. She wasn't allowed to disclose a photograph of Kevin Hart. Leland Pookie Wiggleton. Like, who in the world is that? I'm going to have to look that up. But he's in the lawsuit too. You're not allowed to mention Leland Pookie Wiggleton. I don't know if that's a character of Kevin Hart's or what. Well, see, here's another thing that could hurt them. Property rights. You see that? Property rights. That's the recipient acknowledging that the protected parties have substantially and valuable property rights and the other proprietary interest in the possession, ownership, and use of the confidential information. In the event, recipient acquires, creates, and obtains any materials by virtue of recipient's access to confidential information. Then the recipient agrees and acknowledges that said materials shall also be considered confidential information that shall be owned solely by the owner. Kevin Hart. So now, because this acknowledges the protected parties and the property rights, you violated that. That opens up, like that's saying you messed up a lot of money. And then you have no license into the situation. And I want you to see the no license part too. Nothing contained shall be construed or granted counterfeiting rights by license, otherwise in the confidentiality agreement, right? And it's understood, agreed that neither party solicits any change in the organization, business practice, service, or products of the other party, and that the disclosure of the confidential information shall not be construed as evidence in intent or a party to purchase any product or service of the other party, nor as encouragement to expend funds in the development or research of efforts. Now, let's get to the bigger picture down here. No publicity. Now, when you see no publicity, you're like, what does that mean? That agrees not to disclose any participation in the undertaking or existence of the terms and conditions of the agreement. That means you can't even speak on the confidentiality agreement or the fact that the discussions are being held with Kevin Hart. You're not even allowed to talk about it. You can't even say I got a confidentiality agreement with Kevin Hart. You can't even say me and Kevin Hart was negotiating a confidentiality agreement. No publicity, it means that. You're not even allowed. Right? So, what happens next? It comes all the way down and it says, to the owner, Heartbeat Production, blah, 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 blah. Attention, Pookie Wiggleton. Right? From Heartbeat Productions. And the recipient, Misha Shakes. There it is. Now, what they have is something that seems to be ironclad. So I don't know if Misha Shakes found something in here that she felt that she could get around. I don't see any wiggle room. Now, let's get to some more key details. Because, see, what she did was so dangerous. Going on there, speaking about Kevin Hart and his wife and just business practices, it was so sloppy. No one in this business would ever hire you to work again. So I'm just was like, why is she doing this? I hope she's getting one hell of a payday, because I'm like, you're not sitting on Extra. You're not sitting on any of these television shows, because you know why she's not sitting on those shows? Because those shows have people that vet the information. They say, well, did you sign an NDA? They have lawyers. They have what they call legal. That's what it's called, legal. You go to legal department. These network television shows, they just don't let anybody come on there and just say reckless stuff. They have legal that they have to say, okay, the information she has, let me see your agreement, your non-disclosure, blah, 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 right? So now the legal team has to come in and say something about it. Right. In public opinion, this is damaging to him. But more than that, this hurts his household. The things she said could cause him to get a divorce. Imagine if his wife didn't know any of this, which it seems like she didn't know any of this unless till she brought it to her attention. And now that the whole world knows, the wife might feel pressure. And plus, if everything that this woman said was true, she's having another baby, then, this would bring stress on her in her pregnancy. This is a dangerous situation now. We saw what happened with Kobe and Vanessa. She ended up having a miscarriage with all the stress and all the stuff that came down after the fact. Now she's putting up cryptic messages on social media. But now we finna get to the juice, right? We finna get to the gist of it. Now, good people, don't forget to like the video. I know y'all got here and y'all liking the information, but like it up, because this is something you probably want to see a little bit more and more. So please like the video so they can know that you guys are real people. We're not like the other guys paying people for, hits and views and for bots and fake traffic, fake it till you make it type stuff. We don't do that here. It's real people all the time. That's the way we like to do it. Now look at this, y'all. This is her agreement. Now, let's look at this craziness. The confidentiality agreement with Shakes expressly agrees that the recipient shall not directly or indirectly, verbally, or otherwise publish, disseminate, disclose, or cause to be published, disseminated, or disclosed, herein disclosed any confidential information to any person, firm. You see that? Firm or entity whatsoever on or around October 22nd, 2020. Shakes on one hand and Hart on behalf of himself, Heartbeat, and all other Hart affiliated companies on the other hand entered into that certain mutual release and non-disclosure agreement dated on October 22nd, 2020, the NDA. And true and correct copy of the NDA is attached here as Exhibit B. The NDA called for Hart to pay Shakes $30,000 per year for a period of 3 years, along with other considerations. The NDA defined as confidential agreement the following private and confidential information, which is not generally known to the public or ready, ascertainable by proper means by others and in the subject of reasonable efforts to maintain its secrecy pertaining to any of the following is protected. Exhibit B. God damn it. They say this is Exhibit B. So you were getting paid in an NDA $30,000 per year for a period of 3 years with other considerations. $30,000 a year. Now she claims that the NDA is over. The 3 years is up. So the NDA is over. I hope Shake's got a really good lawyer. Here's what she assumed. She assumed that the 3-year period with the $30,000 per year for 3 years, she thought, okay, now I can disclose said information. No, the NDA just declared that you were paid $30,000 per year for up to 3 years. It does not mean that, okay, I can go ahead and start saying this man's secrets now because it's been a period of time. No, the NDA defined it as confidential information that you are in breach of. You're not to mention it, period. You can no longer discuss any of this is proprietary. Well, I don't know what, like I said, I did not see her full interview. I don't know what's going on over there. I saw the clips that she said, and that was damaging enough. So my thing is, if you had a problem with the confidentiality agreement, you have your lawyers look over it. Because here's what the situation is. And they have all the terms in this agreement right here in front of you. Agreement not to disclose or use confidential information. No use of name or likeness. That means Shake shall not directly or indirectly exploit the name, likeness, or identities of the protected parties to promote, advertise, endorse, or market any services, products of any kind of nature without Hart's advance written consent. No images and recordings. Shake shall not directly or indirectly create, transfer, duplicate, or retain any photographs, moving or still images, sound recordings, or otherwise capture depictions or likeness of any of the protected parties or protected parties' workplace of residential locations or any confidential information. All images and recording directly and indirectly created, retained by Shakes in breach of this agreement or any protected parties directing anything to be Hard's solely exclusive property. And anything she recorded, that means that if she recorded Kevin Hart doing anything, or even if it's on her phone, it's his property. That's what that means. Because of this agreement and because of what she is about to sign, that's his property. That belongs to Kevin Hart. Any photo she took that they deem has, like, let's say she took a picture of his house or at his house, and she took a picture of herself in his house, which could be used as a violation of the contract. And he could own that footage, that photo. Now, here y'all saying, is there a period of time? Here's the thing. No. Now, if there's a period of time, some people say, okay, this is where it gets tricky. Why do you think personal assistants are not running around out here writing books? Why do you think these PAs are not running around out here doing all this stuff? You have some that try, like the former nanny or something like that, but not a personal assistant. Because a personal assistant knows the business. They know about the injunctions. They know about the situations at hand. They know if she leaves, you never can talk about that. What went on there? The agreement says 3 years, you get $30,000. Not after 3 years, you can start talking. That was a payment agreement. It does not say, okay, you can start giving up information after 3 years. That does not, no. That's not how it works. And look, she signed it. Now, I'm not going to show her address. They have an address on here, and I don't want to show that with her email. But it does show she has signed on the dotted line. And Kevin Hart signed. Everything signed on the dotted line. DocuSign 10/22/20. So I see where her confusion came in at, and she should have spoke to a great lawyer, because she's gonna fight this, and she's gonna learn that just because it's been 3 years, and I'm quite sure her legal team probably told her, well, okay, they saying they're gonna do that, and they thinking this is gonna be the loophole. Ooh. It's gonna be hard. Trust me. I've seen these cases where people try to outsmart the NDA. They don't go well. They end up settling or coming to an agreement. No, see, that's what I'm saying. You guys are missing a very valuable point. I understand what you're trying to say, but you guys are missing a very good key point here. Let's check it out. You see this? $30,000 a year for a period of 3 years. is the payment. See? Exhibit B, the NDA calls for Hart to pay Shakes $30,000 per year for a period of 3 years, along with other considerations. That's for pay. That's just it. That's for 3 years of pay. That's all it indicates. See, the NDA called for Hart to pay Shakes $30,000 per year for a period of 3 years, along with other considerations. It doesn't mean you can go ahead and start talking after 3 years. That just means he has to pay you $30,000 per year for a period of 3 years. After that, Kevin Hart no longer has to pay you after a period of 3 years. It doesn't mean your NDA is up in 3 years. You can start talking. It don't work that way. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It does not work that way. Do you know how many assistants would have been out here going crazy? All these personal assistants, they'd have been on podcast shows. My time is up. I'm finna let loose. This nigga fart in the tub. He make his own bubbles. Do you know that every talk show would be nothing but personal assistants if that was the case? There's no way that would not happen. So that's what I'm saying. That's just for the pay. Trust me. Don't believe that. Mm-hmm. Oh, we ain't even got to Tasha K part yet. This is all Misha. This is all Misha Shakes right now, because this would have only been a Misha Shakes lawsuit, because she was the one messing all of this up. She was the one in violation, an apparent violation. Now, right. So that's where it remains with her. Now we're ready to move on to Tasha K. Now, I'm quite sure this woman told Tasha K her NDA was up after 3 years, so now she can talk, and she's ready to start selling her information, as she has no other job, basically. She got let go after they pay. I guess her contract is up. She felt her NDA was something that she could use and get away with. Well, they said around November 23rd, Shake sat down and did an interview with Kibi, which is Tasha K. And they're saying such information, confidentiality agreements, and confidential information as defined by the NDA was such information regarding alleged personal relationships affecting the employment status of personnel at Hart affiliated companies, such as Kevin Hart's interaction with family members. The interview also included false and defamatory statements, including Hart and certain legal disputes in which he had been involved. During the interview, Tasha K, asked Shakes whether she was subject to any non-disclosure agreements, which would have prohibited her from disclosing the type of information that was subject of the interview. Shakes acknowledged that she and the plaintiffs were in fact party to an NDA, but claimed that the agreement had unspecified loopholes that she apparently contended would enable her to escape consequences for her brazenly violating her promises to the plaintiffs and the NDA and the confidentiality agreement terms. She claimed this. See, I never saw the whole interview. So I only saw the clip that's on YouTube. The whole interview is only on Tasha K's platform. So she has not brought it to YouTube yet. So they saw the whole thing. These lawyers saw it and said, oh, okay. She asked her about the NDA on the show. Now she's saying that she had unspecified loopholes that allowing her to escape the consequences of this violation that she's doing, alleged violation of what they're alleging. By the plaintiffs, the NDA, the confidentiality agreement, the terms, everything. So around November 2023, an unidentified individual telephoned a Hart representative stating that the individual was affiliated with Tasha K and that Tasha K had conducted an interview with Misha Shakes, and that the information in the video was damning. Oh, hit the like button too, everybody. And don't forget to subscribe. If you guys are new here, oh, they ain't, you can only say I ain't got it a couple of times. You can't keep going to the well when I ain't got it. Now, yes, hit the like button, good people. Absolutely. My super chat works. The banner says donate to the Cash App, Carcino. Appreciate the support of the page. The like button is free. Cost y'all nothing to hit the like button. Now, where we go from here? Well, you got to look at the entertainment business, right? And where it goes, right? And the news of the day. And how it should, be administered. So anyway, after she conducted this interview, like they said, with Misha Shakes, the interview included allegations that Tasha K representative claimed would be damaging to Hart's reputation. The individual stated that Tasha K would publish the interview unless Kevin Hart paid a ransom. Now they say ransom, not me. The actual case says ransom of $250,000. This is why Tasha K is involved. Now, that right there involves Tasha K. Now you're in a civil extortion lawsuit. 100%. Hello? Oh. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up?
Thank you for your game.
Hey, that's you welcome, man.
You picked everybody just right. I said the Skywalker Saga. The Skywalker Saga. We've been waiting to get that game for years.
Well, I'm glad y'all got it.
They systems at home. They about ready to go back.
Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I got some pictures I'm sending you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Kevin, for the artboard. Thank you for the artboard, Kevin.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for my nail.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
All right, then, Kim. Yeah, they excited.
All right.
Kids, all them giveaways.
Oh, okay.
All right, then. Okay.
All right now. Bye-bye. Oh, man. You see? The things I do for the kids, that's worth it for me. That's worth it. They just got their Christmas gifts. So they all excited now. Yeah, that's a blessing. So as you can see, the super chat stuff don't just go to me. We do the Saginaw STEM. We donate over there. We putting kids into teaching them about STEM research, everything. They do all kind of science projects. I sent out a lot of STEM gifts and everything. So absolutely. Now, with this $250,000 thing, they point to a YouTube video it aired at November the 17th, 2023, where Tasha K posted a teaser for the interview. Ghetto Santa, baby. That was me. I was driving around in a loaner car, dropping off gifts. Yeah, so in the YouTube video that they put the link to, that's included in the lawsuit, they posted it themselves. They said the 206 mark specifically is warning when you don't pay. Oh my God. People, you got to understand, you will be sued. This is not a game. You will be sued. Like, seriously, you're going to be sued if you try these tactics with anybody. You have to be careful how you word things when you're addressing other people. Their lawyer used the keyword ransom and said that. They said, Tasha K, along with Misha Shakes, touted the supposedly salacious and damaging nature of the interview. The teaser video clearly was intended as a threat to Hart that The more detailed interview would be published if the ransom was not paid. Ransom. They chose this word ransom. Listen, ransom was not paid. Like they sent the note. This is a very good tactic by the lawyer. Ransom. Because if you don't, no, that's what ransom is. Once you declare a certain denomination for a transactions of goods and services, this considered to be a bribe or a ransom situation. It can be looked at as that. It's an extortion. You're trying to extort the man. So rather than say extortion, they said ransom. Now they can say, okay, we got a civil extortion case because this $250,000 was a ransom. Ransom with the information being the hostage. Oh my God, this is very good lawyer work. The teaser included a statement from Tasha K at the 206 mark that said, when you don't pay, we got to get money by any means necessary. And that was a threat. Oh man, they declared it as a threat towards Kevin Hart. When you don't pay, we got to get money by any means necessary. Kevin Hart and his representatives could not. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious, good people. Goodness gracious. They said Hart and his representatives contacted the police and did not pay the ransom. Woo! I'm definitely serious. When that clip aired, I was in Florida. I saw that. I was just watching the full interview. Like me and my dad was sitting there watching. She had just uploaded that to YouTube. The full interview of her and Brother Bilal. So we're sitting there watching the situation play out. And as we're sitting there watching the situation play out, I'm sitting there with my dad and we're watching the Brother Bilal. He was, man, this is crazy. Hollywood is a mess. And he's cracking up laughing when he's like, he's killing them. He's just, they having gay sex, man. And he just cracking up. Then when this is over, it goes right to a clip, like something else, like a little teaser come up. And she was, I got the paperwork, like, I got it right here. And look who I got. Kevin Hart, you better call me. I'm like, uh-oh. So I saw that. I saw this little clip that they did, that they talking about. And this clip is included in the lawsuit. So they said Kevin Hart and them called the police. They did not pay the ransom that Tasha K was demanding. On or around November the 22nd, 2023, Hart's attorney, Dante Mills, wrote to Tasha K demanding that she cease and desist all of her legal and permission actions towards Kevin Hart and that she refrain from publishing the interview. A true, correct copy of the cease and desist letter is attached to hereto as Exhibit C. In case in that cease and desist communication, Mr. Mills specifically advised Tasha K and Kevin Hart, that Kevin Hart had contacted law enforcement about her threats. So she was aware, Tasha K was aware that they went to the cops and viewed what she said as a threat. And they wanted her to take down the interview. This is what they wanted. They didn't want any money from Tasha K. They said, take this down. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, if you know what was going on, right. I mean, that's the part that makes the most sense because right, but exactly what you saying. But when you saying they don't enforce civil cases, this is the lawsuit they filed after they went and filed a claim against Tasha K for threats for extortion. So if she would have a criminal extortion case had this went, the other way. So they're gonna go the civil route. But they went a route that they wanted to resolve the situation before it got, to the rest of the world. All right. So let me get back to what Dante Mills said to when Dante Mills said to Tasha K that Kevin Hart had contacted the law about her threats. Right? The cease and desist letter also advised Tasha K that Kevin Hart and Misha Shakes were party to the NDA, that Shakes' participation in that interview violated the NDA, and Tasha K's publication in the interview would constitute international interference with the contractual relations, in addition to various other criminal and torturous conduct that Tasha K had engaged in up to that point. So on December 22nd, on 2022, Tasha K advised Kevin Hart representatives that she would, in fact, be publishing the interview that evening at 6 p.m. So Tasha K told them she finna just release the interview anyway on December 22nd, a month after they didn't had it recorded. And she published it on that night on her Tasha K Live platform. So they already said, look, we reached out to her and she reached back to us and said she will in fact be publishing the interview, which is crazy. This is crazy. Now, Mr. Mills is representing, he sent the lawyer. I mean, the lawyer included the letter he sent Tasha K in the lawsuit. They sent the actual letter and they put that out there. And he's a New York lawyer, but I guess they have a California. They doing it under California law. See, that's something else that people need to be aware of. Even though he's a New York lawyer, it's not under New York law they're using. They're using the California law. So they're filing it. Just because a lawyer is from another place don't mean he can't operate in certain states. And it has to be filed in New York, or it has to be filed. This is a California extortion law, which is Penal Code 518, etc. So when you said you will be damaging Mr. Hart's reputation unless Mr. Hart pays $250,000. This is, of course, constitutes extortion. And once you put a price on that, and if you're Tasha K, I don't know who you got working for you. You never, ever put a price to something that is damaging to somebody and saying, if you don't want it out, and put a price. Once you put a price, it is over. Now it is, they can say extortion. He's trying to extort me. And I don't know who you was there. You have to go into what's called a negotiation. Right? We're trying to compromise. Someone's going to make a donation. You got to choose your words differently. I was like, wow, if someone was to make a donation to my foundation, I mean, that would be a step in the right direction. I could see myself, lending ears to people that, care enough for the kids to want to donate. You got to be careful how you word things. You got to say, well, make a donation. You can't say, if you pay me, you can't. Well, let's talk about an investment, a partnership. Can't be putting down no doggone. You can't get in there and start demanding $250,000, or I'm gonna put this out. Oh, you didn't already screwed up. Mm-hmm. Did she say that though? Somebody who called there representing her team has said so. And they've had dialogue back and forth. And they let her know, we're going to the cops about it and everything. She doubled down again and said, well, I'm releasing it. So they gonna do what they doing. And the letter the lawyer sent extends all of it. This office represents Kevin Hart. I am writing you regarding to the recent ongoing violations of civil and criminal law and to demand that you immediately cease and desist all such activity. You have already engaged in criminal conduct and tortious acts that would entitle Mr. Hart to monetary damages against you. You should elect to commence civil litigation regarding this matter. To the extent that you do not cease and desist now, your liability for such monetary damages will increase, as will your exposure to criminal penalties. As you are no doubt aware, recently someone on Mr. Hart's team was contacted by an unknown individual who indicated that he was affiliated with you and your blog. This individual working at your direction stated that you would be publishing a story on social media, the story that you contend would be damaging to Mr. Hart's reputation unless Mr. Hart pays $250,000. This, of course, constitutes extortion under Penal Code Section 518, etc., and give rise to both criminal and civil liability against you and anyone involved in your efforts to extort Mr. Hart. California's extortion law prohibits any attempt to obtain consideration from another through the wrongful use of force and fear. Penal Code 518. Your effort to extract payment from Mr. Hart by threatening exposure of information supposedly harmful to him is a textbook example. We have thus contacted the police, and upon we be following up with law enforcement as we deem appropriate. Yeah, so that's how it was coming off. Hit the like button, good people. Yeah. They said, we understand the story to be an interview with Mr. Hart's former assistant, Misha Shakes, that supposedly includes scandalous assertions against him. We note that Mrs. Shakes has a documented history with law enforcement in matters involving other high-profile individuals. In advance of your threatening publications of the story, you posted a teaser with Mrs. Shakes on YouTube. So she's everything that's in the lawsuit he sent here in this letter to Tasha K. This was called Exhibit C in the case. That's Exhibit C. I kid you not. Well, they sent the oh yeah, thank you all for hitting the like button. I appreciate that. Thanks for the super chat too. I appreciate that. Somebody hit my Cash App up too. Appreciate that. Love and support. They had this thing scheduled for tomorrow. They were willing to talk. They were willing to negotiate. They did talk. They was like, look, you did this interview with Miss Shakes on YouTube, which clearly was intended as a threat, sending a message to Mr. Hart's team to a more detailed story will not be published if and only if the ransom is paid. Your incensement at approximately the 206 mark of the teaser video, when you don't pay, you gotta get money by any means necessary, is particularly damning and leaves no ambiguity that criminal extortion is your intent. Oh yeah, Exhibit C goes all the way down. They wasn't through talking at all. That lawyer, like, in addition to liability arising from such criminal conduct, the threatened activity would constitute a violation of the non-disclosure agreement between Mr. Hart and Mrs. Shakes. So that started it right there. Certain mutual release of this non-disclosure agreement dated on October 22nd, 2020, known entitled as the NDA, between two individuals. While we do not presently know the specifics of the story or Mrs. Shakes' assertions, the subject matter of the story to which the YouTube teaser alludes would necessarily derive from the information Mrs. Shakes gained while in Mr. Hartman's employment, and thus falls squarely with the NDA definition of a confidential agreement with confidential information. Any such disclosures from Mrs. Shakes in connection with the story therefore constitutes a clear violation of the NDA terms. To the extent that you were to facilitate such a breach of the NDA by publishing the story, you will be subject to a civil liability for international interference with contractual relations, as well as aiding and abetting Mrs. Shakes' torturous conduct against Mr. Hart, in addition to direct liability resulting from your own torturous conduct. Oh yeah. He was nice and mad. He said, beware of the fact that you have established history of posting defamatory and otherwise inappropriate or improper content regarding celebrities and high-profile individuals. For instance, such recent things, you were found liable for damages, civil damages exceeding $3 million in a defamation lawsuit by musician Cardi B. So they were trying to get her to shut up, but she didn't want to listen. They brought up the Cardi B case. A lot of legal jargon. Right. If y'all new here, don't forget to sign up. I have not heard this girl's Mrs. Shakes interview because it's not been put on YouTube. So I have not seen it. I've seen the clip that's on YouTube. These lawyers, they seen the whole shebang-a-bang. So after bringing up the Cardi B lawsuit, they say you and your accomplices' actions with respect to Mr. Hart and are more of the same. In addition to flatly criminally, as set forth above, your advocated history of such misconduct is further evidence of your intent in this case, leaving no doubt as to your liability here. You are also aware that you have recently filed for bankruptcy protection. You should be advised that the bankruptcy code section of 523, the debt occurred as a result of a debtor willfully or malicious injury to an auditor, or here, Mr. Hart, is not subject to discharge. So you will thus not be able to get any liability or damage for monetary damages to Mr. Hart that you incur. You will not be able to be protected by your bankruptcy protection as a result of your misconduct here. This is not subject to discharge. They made sure of that. So what they saying is you can't file for bankruptcy protection. In this case, you're going to be held liable to all type of monetary damages, right? To Mr. Kevin Hart. Very much so. And the fact of the matter is, it's a situation where other people don't want to be in. We've had other people show their face in different scenarios, and they try to have protection in case they got to file for bankruptcy in certain situations that protects their assets. It's not going to happen here because of the type of lawsuit that they're filing. Any liability for monetary damages that occur is not going to be subject to discharge. They're going to make sure of that. So she's playing a very dangerous game when all she had to do is, to get out of this situation was to not air that interview. And she's saying that she was going to air it as if she had a lawyer that she talked to that told her she was in the right. I don't know. When you're doing these situations here, you should have a lawyer on retainer or somebody that's in legal that can understand this situation even further, because the loophole this lady must have that she's saying, I would have put out a disclaimer saying, okay, this lady says she legally has the loophole to, have this information out here. Now, I'm aware that she says she had an NDA. She talked with our legal team and she claims that she does have a loophole. So anything that happens here, I am not legally responsible for. If you decide to press charges, you can only press it against Misha Sheikh. I would have put all this in a disclaimer saying that this woman is doing this and that. Now, when she tried to go, allegedly, she tried to do these acts because, see, they claim somebody from her side tried to come and collect $250,000. Now, that person, they're not saying it was her per se, specifically, but someone saying that they represent her company. So now they have to find this alleged person, or the whole case against Tasha K falls apart. But because she aired this thing and the words that she stated on her show corroborated with the fact that a call was made from a said number demanding said payment. So, I don't know if they really want to go down that rabbit hole. Mm. Well, he claimed that your conduct is criminal. Yeah, they told her you will not be able to evade any liability for monetary damages to Kevin Hart that you incur as a result of this misconduct, which would not constitute dischargeable pre-petition debt in any event. They are serious. I'm like, they ain't playing no games here. The right of the foregoing issues, we demand that you immediately cease and desist all activity and public arrangements relating to this story and refrain from any publication or threatening the release of this story. Have your attorneys contact me to discuss this matter in further detail. And that's all she had to do was listen to this warning. This was this is a hint and a half on your ass. If I got sent this letter, ain't no way in hell I'm saying, man, they tripping. Man, ain't no way in hell. If this thing is this detailed and laid out, I'm like, they ain't playing no game. That's how I'm looking like. They ain't playing no games. These niggas for real. I would have said, well, no, I don't. I don't really see it that way. I really don't. I don't really see it that way. I don't know. He probably was the idiot that called. He probably was the idiot that called. Like, yeah, if y'all want to pay 250,000, yeah, we you know that loss, man. That video ain't we won't put it out there. It's gonna cost you 250,000. Can't get locked up for silver cases. Uh, there's more. I would rather be in jail than had to pay somebody 10, 17 million dollars. I'll be locked me up. Oh yeah, I mean, that's all she do. She put them big boobies on the screen. Yep. So that's the details right now. Um, if I find anything else out more, I'll let y'all know. But that's pretty much the gist of it right there. So yeah, I don't know what this woman was trying to accomplish by doing what she did, and putting out that information on Kevin Hart, but she bumped her head, boy. This was not a good idea. And you know, the brother Bilal situation seemed to be going the way that, he got his proof and everything else. He got paperwork. And she's saying that she can say what she want to say, and they disagree. This sounds like she's gonna be in a lot of lawsuits, and it don't seem nice. I want to say thank all y'all for super chatting me. Thank for all y'all who came up here and joined, subscribe for the first time. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the notification bell so when we do get more information, you're not lost in the sauce. As you can see, we gave you the information exclusively from the lawsuit case filed by Kevin Hart's attorneys from his legal team. So, absolutely. So, let me go ahead and take care of some business. Thank all y'all for showing up. I'm out. Don't forget to go to my Patreon, which is Carcino for Life. Subscribe there. We got one of the greatest Patreon channels going. Boom, right there. Is my cash app. The Patreon is Carcino for Life, and trust me, you're gonna want to see what we got over there. We still got more coming. So I'm out. Thanking you.